How do you describe this to people?
So, one thing that I think is very relevant is the idea that current credentialing organizations charge us every single time we need to verify a credential. If we need to prove that our state license is really our state license, we have to pay them. If we want to prove that our medical school diploma is our medical school diploma, we have to pay them. Imagine if you had to pay a third party every time you wanted to order a glass of wine at the bar and they looked at your ID, right? Or you crossed a national border and you used your passport. If you had to pay the government because you were using your passport and they had to swipe that barcode. That's the way our current system stands. And we need a better solution where we own the credential.
I love it. You know, we paid for medical school. Why are we paying every time we just prove that we went to medical school? That's when I say own your right to work, I think that's what I mean. But that's a really, really amazing example. Like, what if you had to pay every time you used your license, or, you know, and Dr. Jenkins, you also had kind of another analogy.
I liken this as to my professional passport. Just like my US passport that I use to travel, I want to own it. I don't want to hand it over to a third party. So in the same way, I want to own my professional credentials. I'm not interested in a third party having agency over those professional credentials.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of what happened to me with identity theft, right? I had to like hand over my rights to my credentials. They were using them without my knowledge or consent. And, you know, imagine if every time you wanted to take an international trip, you had to like put a request in, wait for your passport to come due in the mail, ask for permission to leave the country. What's the point of having a passport if you have to ask for permission? And so, you know, having it in your hand or in your wallet is exactly what we do. So I really loved these analogies. Was there anyone else that wanted to share a little bit? Okay, Dr. Was Smith, go for it. Let's hear it.
I think of this too, like I have Credit Karma on my phone, and I know instantly now if somebody is, you know, trying to open a credit card or trying like the what happened to you with your credentials being used. If I work telemedicine, I want to know. I work in person in some places. I work as a locum pediatrician. I want to know if my license is being used, because that's my liability. If my name's being used to co-sign somebody's order and I know nothing about that, that's my identity, my liability. So this is like a hybrid. When people ask me what is HPEC, I think of it as like kind of like the Apple Wallet, but with like secure credentials. Like, this is my diploma. Whenever I have to renew a license, the ability to be able to send this electronically, and we own that company as and the AMA doesn't, and some other third party. I think it's like, why wouldn't people invest? I think all medical students should invest, all the parents of medical students, anybody who cares about medicine. This is a way to take our identities back.
I love it. And, you know, you're talking about the investment opportunity where anybody can go on to StartEngine right now and make an investment and own a piece of this company. But you're also talking about the individual physician members owning their own credentials. Now, membership to HPEC is free, and we want it to always be free. And the way that we're going to do that is because credentialing is a $5 billion industry. So, you know, we have a way to create a credentialing solution, generate revenue as a company, allow you to own your credentials, allow you to see who's using your credentials. And I actually just did a video about this that I'm going to put out soon on PCOS. You can find out who's using your credentials now, but it's very cumbersome to use. So this can be an automated way to do that. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Dewey, I'd love to hear from you. You're looking all beach ready.
Because I was at the beach earlier. So I'm Dr. Christina Dewey. I am a pediatrician who has been practicing for over 20 years. One of the other things that I think the credentialing that's really important to say about credentialing, and that many employed physicians don't really know, is that in order to practice at a different hospital, or in order to practice in a different state, or in order to be mobile throughout where the places are that you work, you actually need to be credentialed in those places. So if you were going to go work at another hospital because for whatever reason you decide you want to go deliver babies there, or you want to round on them, or you want to perform a surgical procedure, and you want to expand your clinics, anyone for you and anyone that works for you, they need to be re-credentialed at that facility. And right now it takes 3 to 6 months to make that happen. And we, the physicians, are paying for that. So here comes HPEC. HPEC, we own and control our own credentials. We keep all of our information in our secured digital wallet. And so we have our licensing, we have our medical license, our DEA license, our med school diploma, our letters of recommendation, our USMLE scores, our board scores, our CME, everything is all in one place. And the facility pays us for it, not the other way around. And here's the thing is, like, this technology is coming. We're either going to have to use it and own it and control it, or have to pay somebody else, just like we do for continuing certification of boards, or for many of the other things that we are constantly paying over and over and over again. Haven't we already paid enough? We already paid over $250,000 to become physicians. And I think the data should be ours. Along those lines, I have to say one more thing because I like to talk. But along those lines, also, single time we put our own intellectual data or how we're treating a patient into an EMR, an electronic medical record, that's no longer ours. It's our intellectual data. We're the one treating the patient and we're giving it away. And one another arm of kind of the HPEC platform is that we're not only going to be able to communicate each other with only physicians, but at some point we'll also be able to communicate with our patients. It's a little bit further down the line. But the first piece is how, if you invest in HPEC, how is this going to make you money? It's because we're going to own our credentials. And by us owning them and controlling them, we'll be able to work wherever we want, whenever we want, and not have to wait 3 to 6 months.
That's the thing that I think people don't realize. They think that this 4 to 6 months waiting is going to happen forever. Like, we can create streamlined, automated solutions. So people who work locums, I used to work locums and it took forever. And I had to plan 6 months in advance for everything that I was doing. Imagine if I could go pick up shifts in that hospital. And we actually have an agreement with a telefingerprinting company where we're on the path to create interstate medical licensing reciprocity by making a solution for them. And so that'll get us to cross-state licensure quickly, which I think is another real big value add. So thank you so much. Dr. Bett, would you like to chat?
Yeah, and I'm going to actually build on what both yourself and Dr. Dewey just said, because I just recently had to be credentialed for a new hospital, and it took 4 months. And that's with all sorts of asynchronous effort on my part, the credentialing coordinator, the board of the hospital, when really all of these things can be done, yes, asynchronously, but instantaneously. Once we upload our credentials in terms of procedures we've done, our letters of reference, where we practiced before, where we did our residency, where we went to medical school, all that stuff should happen with the click of a button that we've chosen. So to release this information to this institution, and they need to request that from us directly rather than going to some other entity. So this solves so many different problems that prevent us from delivering care to patients when they need it, and for us to be able to be as effective as possible as physicians in the communities that we serve. So that's why I invested from the beginning. That's why I've continued on. That's why I love interacting with this group, because it just renews my passion for moving this project forward.
I love that. Thank you so much. And it means so much to me. And we were able to build this beta version of the product that's available now, that's free for any physician to use. And, I think because it has the potential to do so much, people are like, well, I don't really get it. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming on at the last minute. I know we didn't plan to do this today, but you just had so many amazing things to say. I wanted to make sure that we could share it. And unless there's somebody else that wants to talk, we can go off live now. But, please, you want to talk one more time? Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say that if people are interested, you're hearing what we say, we need, go to hpec.io right now. There's a button to invest. It's through also with Start Engine. So startengine.com/offering/HPEC. Or if, again, you just go to the regular hpec.io website, there's a button where you can invest as well. In order for us to really create change, we need to get as many, and to keep this physician owned, we need as many physicians to invest as possible. And honestly, I think that change is coming whether we want it to or not. And so we can either control it, which I think we'll be able to do very well with HPAC, and put ourselves back in the position to, again, we own our data, we own our credentials, we get to control what happens next versus being told what to say or do. So let's invest. I've
Yeah.
invested twice.
Yeah, we do have a lot of repeat investors, because the more people learn about this and the more people realize what we're actually doing, the more excited that they get. And there is a time limited opportunity right now on Start Engine. And, we went through a lot of paperwork to make it possible for anyone to invest for as little as $500. Now, if we could only get a few thousand doctors to invest a few $1,000s, we would hit our goal. We have a goal to raise $5 million. And, that's the cost of one credentialing event. And this solution has the ability to solve credentialing for us. And even for independent solo practice cash only doctors, you still have to maintain your DEA, you still have to maintain your licenses, and we have a solution for that. And so I'm asking you to join us as an investor, and I'm asking you to also join as members and to share it. This is an opportunity for us to own our future. And if we don't own the solutions of the future, we'll continue to be owned in the future. So unless anyone else has any final thoughts, we're going to sign off. Thanks for listening.
Leah, can I make one comment?
Yes, please. Couple more.
I was just going to say, I love my Apple Wallet. I mean, it is so easy to board an airplane and scan that. I mean, to have all my credentials in a wallet like that I own would be amazing. That's the future. That's the
what we're doing.
future.
Yep.
Right? No more finding your DEA card or finding your American Academy of Pediatrics thing, or your license, or your PALS or your ALS or your ACLS or BLS. It's all in one spot. Easy
Correct.
peasy.
And it's secure.
It's
Right.
exactly.
Because for everybody who says, well, I have that on my Google Drive, or I have that, that's not going to be accepted. I just went through a major recredentialing, even in the same institution. I worked for one of the bigger systems in Pennsylvania. They have Central, North, Northwest, every single hospital, even though they have the same. I've had to go through it over and over and over again. I'm waiting to be recredentialed at a hospital in California because one of my prior employers hasn't responded with the right verbiage to, it affects my bottom line. And for people who say, wait, I'm not paying for any of this credentialing, you are. Even if you aren't writing a check, they're taking it out of your salary. So for every employed physician out there who thinks that, oh, wait, this is free. No, it's not free. And when they say, give me your login for PCOS or for everything that you're giving, it's like saying, here, log into my,
into your credit card.
Right.
Yes, basically. More valuable than your credit card. This is our careers. We spent our youth with our nose in a book to get these credentials. You're absolutely correct. I wasn't able to work for 5 months when they were using my credentials without my knowledge or consent. So you're absolutely right. This is like having an Apple Wallet with your credentials, but even more secure because we own it. And, this is possible only today because this technology exists. And legally, what people don't realize, legally, we have to have access control to our credentials. Part of why we're constantly having to respond to these credential verification requests and give them our logins. And, when you're employed in a place for a long time, they usually have your logins. You probably gave them to them if you haven't thought about credentialing for years. So you've had to give away your access in order for that to happen. So this is a real solution. It's only made possible today. We can build it ourselves. We can own it together. And that's what this is about. And so I'm really grateful for everybody who's listening now. So take a moment to make an investment. This is your future, and this is an opportunity for us to collectively own the future together. So thanks for listening. Ciao, guys. hpec.io. Bye.
Invest.
now.
Amazing, amazing. So